Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not into someone's life, not into a history lesson, not into a biography, but into an idea, a powerful idea, one that changed the lives of countless people and might just change yours. This isn't just a summary. It's a living, breathing story, a story that teaches us how to think differently, how to rise above limitations, and how to grow. Not just in wealth, but in power, clarity, and life itself. It's the story of one of the most influential ideas ever written. The idea behind the book, Think and Grow Rich. I remember the first time I saw the title. I didn't even read the book right away. I just stared at those 5 words. Think and grow rich. Something about it struck me. It wasn't work hard and grow rich, not get lucky and grow rich. It was think, that one word. It stayed with me. Could thinking really make you rich? Could the way I use my mind really change my life? At the time, I was broke, not just financially, but emotionally. I had ideas, dreams, but they felt so far away, so unreachable. I was tired of starting over, tired of feeling small. But something told me, open the book. And when I finally did, everything changed. From the very first pages, the book made one thing clear. Riches don't begin in your bank account. They begin in your mind, in your thoughts, in the burning desire that lives deep within you. That's where it all starts. Napoleon Hill, the author, didn't say success was about intelligence or background or education. He said it starts with desire. A desire so strong that it becomes part of your soul. You don't just want it. You need it. You breathe it. You think about it day and night. Not a casual wish, not a maybe, but a must. I had to ask myself, what was my burning desire? Not what I thought I wanted, but what my heart screamed for when no one else was listening. And that question alone broke something open inside me. I had been living passively, waiting, wishing, hoping. But this book told me, desire is the beginning of all achievement. If you want to change your life, it begins by daring to want more. Not in a greedy way, not in an arrogant way, but in a purposeful way. Because you know, you were meant for more. But desire alone isn't enough. You have to believe it. You have to have faith. And not just any kind of faith. Faith in yourself. That was hard for me. Like many people, I had doubts. I had been told I wasn't enough, that I would fail, that dreams were just fantasies. But Hill taught me something powerful. Faith is not something you are born with. It is something you create, with repetition, with emotion, with conviction, through a technique called autosuggestion, the practice of telling yourself what you want to believe, over and over, until your mind begins to accept it as truth. I felt silly at first, standing in front of a mirror, whispering my goals, saying things like, I am confident, I am capable, I will succeed. My voice trembled. My heart didn't believe it yet. But I kept doing it. And something remarkable happened. One day, I said those words. And I believed them. That belief, that internal shift, is what makes the difference. Not luck, not perfect timing, but mindset. And once you believe, you must act. No idea becomes real without action. The book makes this clear. Success is the result of organized, persistent action. Having a dream is not enough. Writing it down is not enough. You must create a plan, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, and begin. That's where most people stop. They wait for everything to be certain. They wait until they feel ready. But Hill says clearly, you will never feel ready. That's why you must move, even in uncertainty. even in fear. I started small. I wrote out my goal. I made a plan. I failed. I cried. I got discouraged. But I didn't stop because I remembered the words. A quitter never wins. A winner never quits. That sentence was like a flame in the darkness. Every time I stumbled, I repeated it to myself. I felt like giving up. And then I'd take one more step, one more phone call, one more early morning, one more hour of learning. And slowly, things began to shift. One of the most surprising lessons in the book is about the power of people. Your mastermind group. A group of like-minded individuals who challenge you, inspire you, and believe in you. Hill explains that no great success is built alone. We rise faster when we rise together. I used to think I had to do everything by myself, that asking for help was weakness. But it's not. It's wisdom. Surrounding myself with people who had vision, who had strength, who had faith. It lifted me in ways I never imagined. Their courage became my fuel. Still, life didn't get easier. In fact, sometimes it got harder. But I noticed something. My mind had changed. I wasn't as afraid anymore. I was more focused, more determined, more calm, even in chaos. And I realized something Hill says clearly. Your thoughts become things. If you think fear, you attract fear. If you think confidence, you attract strength. What you focus on grows. Then came one of the hardest truths. You must learn how to decide. Hill says that indecision is the thief of opportunity. Every time we delay, every time we hesitate, every time we say maybe, we lose momentum. I used to wait for signs, for permission, for clarity. But the book taught me, clarity comes after you decide, after you move. Even a wrong decision is better than none. Because movement creates direction, and direction creates destiny. But what happens when things go wrong? When plans fail? When dreams collapse? That's where most people stop. They see failure as the end. But Hill says no. Failure is part of the process. Every failure carries within it the seed of an equal or greater success. The most successful people in the world, they failed more times than you can count. But they didn't stop. They used failure as feedback, as fuel, as a step forward. I can't even count how many times I felt defeated, empty, like I had wasted years. But every time I fell, I got stronger. Every no brought me closer to a yes. Every delay built my resilience. Every mistake taught me something I never would have learned otherwise. That's the secret. Pain is a teacher. And behind all of it, the success, the failure, the growth, there's one enemy that waits in the shadows. Fear. Hill calls it the greatest obstacle of all. Fear of criticism, fear of poverty, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. It's the silent killer of dreams. I've felt it. You've felt it. We all have. But here's what I learned. Fear loses its power when you move. Action is the antidote to fear. You don't have to feel brave. You just have to take one step. Sometimes I acted while shaking. Sometimes I spoke with a trembling voice. But I acted anyway. And each time, the fear grew smaller. Each time I realized, most of the fear was just in my mind. It wasn't real. But the dream was real. Hill also teaches the importance of specialized knowledge, not just general education, but focused learning, skills, mastery. Don't try to know everything. Learn what you need for your goal. Focus deeply. Grow intentionally. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. And then, there's imagination. That's one of my favorite parts. The power to create images in your mind of what does not yet exist. Everything in this world, every building, every song, every invention, started in someone's imagination, and your imagination is a preview of what's possible. I started to see my goals not just as words, but as visions. I imagined my success. I pictured the life I wanted. I felt it, tasted it, smelled it. And that feeling, that vivid picture, it pulled me forward. When your mind believes something is real, your actions follow. That's why visualizing is not silly. It's powerful. It builds bridges between today and tomorrow. There's another lesson in the book that hit me hard. Persistence. So simple, so obvious, yet so rare. We live in a world of instant results. Instant coffee, instant messages, instant satisfaction. But success, real success, takes time and patience and grit. You must be willing to do the work without seeing the reward right away. To keep showing up day after day, even when nothing seems to change. Because persistence turns pressure into diamonds. And the final piece is purpose. All the success in the world means nothing if you don't know why you're doing it. Your why gives your dream its fire. Without it, you'll burn out. With it, you'll rise higher than you ever imagined. I had to go deep and ask, why do I want to grow? Why do I want to succeed? What is the life I want to create, not just for myself, but for those I love? The answer was clear. I wanted freedom. Not just financial freedom, but freedom of mind. Freedom to live, to give, to choose. Think and Grow Rich is more than a book. It's a mirror. It shows you what's possible when you stop waiting and start thinking. When you stop reacting and start creating. When you stop surviving and start building. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every decision you make. It's writing the story of your life. And now, the pen is in your hand. What will you write?